Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. First of all, welcome to the series of Doha Diaries, episode 1. My name is Mpume and I've been teaching in Qatar for the past 11 years. Today I'd like to share my personal journey, what brought me here and what it's been like living abroad with my family and some of the key lessons that I've learned along the way.
God, you call me by my name.
Before we actually get into the nitty-gritty, let me give you a quick snapshot of my life. I'm originally from South Africa. I've been married since 2008. Both my husband and I are teachers and we've been living here in Qatar, as I said, for 11 years. We have 2 kids. Troy, make it 3 at this point. We have Nicole, who is 15 and who's going to be turning 15 on April the 22nd, and Troy, who just turned 12. Got the Chanel, and we have Chanel. We basically moved to Qatar seeking like a better opportunity, and South Africa at that point in time, there were like no stable opportunities for us, and we thought that coming to Qatar we are going to change our lives, and we did. So we arrived in Qatar on the 16th of September 2014, and the very next day we had to start work. Forgive me if I keep on looking down here, you guys. I've just made notes so that I stay on track. So anyways, before we got to Qatar, the school had already arranged an apartment for us. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and coming from a tiny 1.5 bedroom apartment in South Africa, we were completely in awe. When we saw our new home, everything felt just like a blessing. It was such a blessing to us. To make the transition even smoother, the apartment came stocked up with all the basics that we needed. I'm talking, we had groceries like bread, butter, jam, milk, coffee. I'm a huge coffee drinker, so that was like a huge thing for me. Like, the small things actually do matter. And not only that, the school also gave us an advance so that we could get our, any necessities that we needed, like toiletries or anything that we wanted, which was a huge relief, especially coming from not having anything to having a school that actually shows that, we care about you and we want you to settle in, quickly. So anyways, finances were a huge concern of us when we moved. Back in South Africa, we'd been living paycheck to paycheck, like most people who are in teaching, because teachers don't get paid enough, let's just be honest. And we occasionally had to borrow money for rent from loan sharks because we've missed our rent payments. And I remember there was a time where we actually couldn't pay rent, and the landlord actually sent his lawyers and they were threatening eviction unless we paid. That level of financial stress can really take a toll on anybody. So when we got it was a massive relief that the school offered us an advance of 2,000 reals. This actually, she's looking at herself. This actually allowed us to buy things that we needed, like toiletries. We were able to buy school bags for the kids. We were able to buy a lot because, as I said, the school did provide the basics, but we still needed to buy your cleaning material. Bedding was provided, but all the other things that we needed, we were able to get using that money, which was a huge relief, and that made us feel then supported. Listen to me, first impressions really do matter. So when that happened, we were like, okay, you know what? We made the right decision for coming here. So when we started school, the first day, I'm not gonna lie, the teachers, the staff was welcoming. And from day one, they provided guidance and support from showing us how the lesson plans. I remember my year leader, Abby. She absolutely amazing. She made me feel welcomed. And bear in mind, I was coming from teaching CAPS, but fortunately I had prior experience of teaching the British curriculum because I worked in the UK for teaching for 2 years. So that wasn't a huge shock to my system. For somebody who was new to the country. I'm not gonna lie, Abby was a great support when it came to supporting her teachers and her team. So one of the most important lessons I learned when we first got here was that organization is very important. We kept everything organized in a folder, and I'm talking from marriage certificates, birth certificates, degree attestation, because you are going to need these things when you are applying for the kids' permanent residency, because the children will be under your sponsorship. I will get into that later on, where I tell you the whole gist of the process of us sponsoring the kids and how we were able to bring the kids here. But just to touch quickly on it, initially the kids came on a visit visa, and then there were other we needed to do after that. This has been very easy now. It's easy to do now because they've introduced Midrash, which is an app. The app was introduced during COVID to make it easier for people who were immigrating to Qatar. I will give you the whole gist of what Midrash is in a future video, how to use it, and how you can use it to your benefit to make your life so much easier. But it is used to renew your resident permits, apply for pay for traffic fines, renew your driver's license, track visa status, so much more. Now it is so much easier. Essentially, it allows you to handle any government-based or government-related task from your phone. Simple, easy as that. That's how easy it is. And not only does it save you countless trips to the immigration offices, guys, you have no idea how much hassle we had to go through when we first got here. But when we first got here, it was a thing of standing in long queues and being sent back because you were missing a document, and then you bring it the following day and they tell you, no, we don't need this document, or we need this document, but you're also missing something else. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me this yesterday when I was here? Give me the list of everything that I need, and then I will bring it to you. But trust me, it all depended on who you met that day, because everybody's situation was different. Now, Midrash makes it so much easier. When we arrived to Qatar, Nicole was 4 and Troy was not even 1. I think he was about 7 months. And as a mom, I'm not gonna lie, I was worried about how they are gonna adapt and how are they gonna find the environment, the culture and everything. But thankfully, the school that they were in and the community that we have in the apartments that we were living in was very, very strong. They made friends quickly, and the friends that we lived with within the compound and apartments, when we later moved into the compound, they went to the same school. And there were a lot of activities for the kids to do. So I'm talking sports. They joined, Kohle at one point was doing ballet, Troy was doing karate and swimming. They both loved swimming. When we got here, they couldn't really swim. So they did swimming lessons in the school. Guys, there's so many things for kids to do, but I'm not gonna lie, most of them are pricey. You are gonna be paying a lot. But again, you've got to understand that your kids are not with their cousins and relatives. So that little bit of time of extracurricular activities outside of school just gives them that outlet of actually socializing with children that are not in their school and meeting other people as well. So another reason why we moved to Qatar and we chose Qatar was for the safety factor. Chanel, please. I'm not gonna lie, guys, Qatar is extremely safe. There is never going to be a time where you feel like your life is threatened. I'm just speaking on my personal experience. I'm not gonna lie, there's never been a time where I felt like, oh gosh, it is extremely safe, you guys. At one point, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there was an incident where we were trying on rings in Villaggio, and I took off my engagement ring and I left it on the counter. And I forgot about it, we walked off. When we go to the shop, half of the time my bag, my phone, my wallet is in the trolley, and we leave the trolley on the side and we go looking for milk on the other aisle, in the other aisle. Now, I like to play with my ring, so when I fiddle with my finger, I noticed, oh, my ring is gone. So we went back to the kiosk And fortunately enough, the ring was there. And this is what will normally happen in Qatar, guys. It is extremely safe, so there is nothing for you to worry about. We don't even lock our door. We don't. We go to the shops, even at night, we don't lock our door. It's just left open. Is this something that we will be able to do in South Africa? Definitely not. Teaching in Qatar, guys, I'm not gonna lie, has offered me the opportunity of a wealth of knowledge. And many schools invest in their teachers. They invest in professional development. They hold workshops, CPDs all the time. And some teachers are even given the opportunity to study and further their studies, and the school actually pays for this if you are that way inclined. I know there are some teachers who who want to be in managerial positions, like leadership positions, and the school has actually paid for them to do like a master's in leadership and management. So there are opportunities if you do want to grow. There are schools who actually offer you to have that growth within your profession. Working in this environment surrounded by educators with diverse backgrounds not only made me a better teacher, but also enriched me personally, because I'm able to deal with anybody from any walk of life. And I don't know, you just get to have a different perspective rather than just dealing with South Africans. I'm not saying that working with South Africans only is a bad thing, but I don't know, when you are exposed to an international setting, your mind as well, I feel like you grow as a person as well. So I have definitely grown in my career. I have definitely been taught so many different things that I don't think I would have been able to learn if I was in South Africa. So many different teaching strategies that I am even implementing up until today. I remember in my first school, my head of primary, Miss Nizreen, she's the one that introduced me to cooperative learning. Guys, I have never looked back. I use cooperative learning up until today because it was a strategy that I just found so interesting. You know, when somebody teaches you something that you never thought of doing, but it makes sense, and you're like, okay, let me give this a try. And yeah, I've loved it, and I'm still doing it up until today. Reflecting on being in Qatar for more than a decade, I can genuinely say that Qatar has shaped me in a way that I've never expected. I've become more adaptable, more aware of cultural nuances, and more appreciative of like a global community that we live in. My children have grown up to be very independent, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, we do have to chase after them here and there, but I feel like I can put them in any setting and they'll be able to cope with that setting. It doesn't matter where they are, I feel like they'll be able to hold their own. So yeah, they are resilient and obviously very respectful, because it doesn't matter which country we're in, we still teach our children that respect comes first. Obviously, respect is a two-way street, but we bring up our kids to be very respectful individuals, irrespective of who they are speaking to. It could be somebody older, younger, it doesn't matter. Respect goes a long way, as well as having a strong foundation in your religion. Like, God comes first in everything. I'm not gonna lie, if you are considering teaching in Qatar, or you are just simply curious about what life is like here, I hope my story offers some useful insights. And it's not always easy, you guys. There are some challenges. I'm not saying that it's always going to be roses, definitely not. Working in the Middle East as a whole, you need to have a strong, you have to have, okay, let me put it like this. To work in the Middle East, you have to have patience. You have to think outside of the box. You have to leave behind everything, in the sense of you are not teaching majority children from your country. You are teaching children from the Middle East, and you are teaching international students. So your way of thinking really does have to change. And as a teacher, you have to be adaptable, you have to be flexible, and you have to adjust. So yeah, there's a lot that you will have change and a lot that you will have to learn. And again, I will say you have to have a lot of patience. But I always come back to the point of, if you know why you left your country to come to Qatar, you will make it work. Unless your reason is not strong enough and you feel like this is not the thing for you, then by all means, there are people who haven't even lasted a month and they've gone back to their countries. But if you know that this is the end all or be all for your future, trust me, you will make it work. I hope that the little bit of insight that I shared with you does help in one way or the other, and you end up making the right decision for you and your family. And I will be making more videos geared to teachers who are maybe interested or are looking into coming to Qatar with their families, because I feel like there's a lot of content out there for single people coming to Qatar, but there's a shortage of content specifically for teachers who want to come to Qatar with their families. How is it? And I'm making this video because I'll put the comments on the screen. This was actually sparked by this comment that you are seeing on the screen, where she asked about like the schooling system for the children, for how did my kids adapt and so on. You can see the comments on the screen. So that is why I am making this video, and this is why I thought I will make the series. So thank you very much for commenting. I did post on my communities tab asking you guys for suggestions for topics. So if you have anything that you would like me to discuss more specifically when it comes to families moving to Qatar, please do let me know, and I will try my best to do my research and speak upon my own experiences, just to give you a little bit more of like guidance and insights. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has helped. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you have watched it this far, can you please leave the apple emoji in the comment section? And again, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe to my channel. I love you guys, and I will see you on my next one. Bye-bye.